Hello and welcome to today's podcast on battery EPR compliance for producers, importers, and refurbishers. Today we have ALN Rao with us, who is Circularity Head at Recykal and an expert who is deeply engaged in shaping how India implements EPR for batteries at scale. Welcome, sir, to today's session. So, the Battery Waste Management Rules 2022 places two key responsibilities for producers: fulfilling their EPR targets and adhering to recycled content and reuse obligations in new product manufacturing. Sir, how are producers managing these two key targets?
Well, that's a good question. Two aspects to it. One is EPR and two is a secondary raw material. And for a producer, identifying the right recycler is the key to fulfill their EPR targets. Why is that? Because it's the sourcing of materials, the commercial transactions that the recycler has while procuring these materials and the compliances that comes along. Also, there are certain norms that CPCB and SPCB has set for the recycler. So this becomes a key criteria in identifying a recycler. And of course the commercials, but last but not the least, the deliverables that are there. It could be time, it could be the money, it could be the credit transfers based on the various issues of portals that are there, and taking up the liabilities or the responsibilities. These factors are the key identifying the recycler by the producer. Yeah, so deliverables, time, money, commercials, transfer of credits rightly at the right time before the annual filing dates, the liabilities and responsibilities. What is it that the recycler wishes to take are the key criteria for a producer in selecting a recycler for EPR. Now, when it comes to secondary raw materials, it's the type of metals and materials that are there. It's the R&D, the certification, the standards that the recycler sets for their processes, the outputs. Maybe for plastic, you can call it as chemical compounding that's required based on the grades or quality of the material required by the producer, and sampling and doing in some pilots. Then finally, how do you get these secondary raw material into mass production at the last is the most important aspect. So it's not an easy task, but this is how I think producers in India are looking at in identifying the recyclers who can offer the right services. Yeah.
So, success here comes down to aligning the right recycler with clear roles, responsibilities, and results. Sir, as per CPCB guidelines, specific recycling targets have been set for different categories of batteries. Could you please walk us through these targets?
There are four types of batteries that's been identified: portable, automotive, industrial, and EV. The portable batteries, it is around 70% for 24, 25, 25, 26. Even for automotive, it's 70% and 90% for 24, 25, 25, 26. For industrial, it's 60% and 70%. And last but not the least, for EV, it is 70% for both 24, 25, 25, 26. And additionally, there are recycled content targets that's been given from 27 onwards. It starts all the way from 5% to 30%.
Thanks for breaking that down. It's a strong signal that battery waste management is no longer optional, it's strategic. With that, there must be operational difficulties that exists for producers, importers and refurbishers to avoid environmental compensation and other penalties.
The right sourcing of this scrap from multiple sources by a recycler, the formal and informal markets, which markets what material procurement takes place. The pricing dynamics plays a very important role because we deal with metals and materials and critical raw materials too. So the exchanges, the LMEs or the MCX rates, these plays a very vital part in pricing dynamics. The demand and supply of commodities also plays a role. Sometimes not having enough credits by the recycler also will create a problem for producers, because they have to fulfill the targets uh, before the deadline, the annual filing date. And we also find issues with the operations of the CPCB portal for some time. We had seen in the past, even though things are happening in the right way currently, but these glitches might come in which might delay. So hence a producer needs to be very careful. And last but not the least is, because of unethical practices of a recycler, if the credits gets disqualified, what the recycler has transferred to the producer, it becomes a major issue for the producer also. So those are the points where the producer needs to be very careful. Yeah.
And this also highlights how producers today must operate with precision, because every gap can lead to compliance risks. So what are the solutions that help the producers in adhering to all the compliance requirements?
Well, it sounds easy, but it's not that easy per se. Identifying a right service provider, a genuine service provider, is the key. And somebody who's got the right financial credentials, due diligence brings in positive information, audits, stringent audits done on the service provider yields very favorable, positive results comes out. Reputation, if it's listed, all the better for the producers. We don't have such recyclers, as many recyclers who have listed in the exchanges here. So the key is identifying service providers who can either be consultants or service organizations like Recykal or recyclers directly. And we at Recykal are the one-stop shop, a one-stop vendor organization which offers services for e-waste, battery, plastics, tires, oils, non-ferrous, and many more, and including take-back solutions. And we give solutions for the entire product life cycle of any product per se, right from manufacturing waste or industrial waste, they call it, to EPR, to take-back solutions, to secondary raw materials, and also marketplace, where we offer opportunity for demand and supply, or buyers and sellers selling and buying the materials that they dispose of or want to buy. So, and somebody who can actually bring in mass consumer behavioral changes, like how Recykal has got a digital deposit refund system. Similar tech solutions available, and use of tech platforms, bringing in transparency, bringing in that visibility to all stakeholders and all transactions, and ensuring that all the transactions that takes place are done in a formal way. And those are the key metrics. We at Recykal follow that, and identifying such a service provider will help the producer in mitigating most of the risks that are there as far as compliances are concerned. Yep.
Ultimately, the right solutions, digital, credible, and integrated, make all the difference in helping producers stay truly compliant. Thank you, ALN sir, for sharing your perspective and breaking down the real challenges and opportunities in India's waste compliance landscape. Your guidance on what it takes to meet targets, from infrastructure to accountability, has been invaluable. To everyone listening, we hope this conversation helps you better understand the role each of us plays in building a more circular and compliant future. Until next time, stay informed, stay sustainable. Need guidance? Connect with Recykal to understand how you can stay compliant. We are just a call or email away.